Have I thought kind of a game of runs tonight. You had some good stretches, but then Lafayette had a stretch at the start of the second half and then the start of the fourth quarter.
Yes, I mean, I give them a tremendous amount of credit. We knew that too. I mean, they've had a little bit of a history this year of starting the third period strong, and we talked about it at halftime. I mean, we're up 8 points at the half and played pretty good first half. I thought our defense was outstanding. Offensively, we were okay, but at the end of the day, this team has really struggled with consistency. Our defense has been a major part of that. Our rebounding's a problem. But when you look at overall, when three of your starters, go a total of 1 for 23. I mean, that's not going to win a lot of games for you. 1 for 23. So I mean, between Hall, Skaman, and Hope Brown, I mean, that's just bad decision after bad decision. Going in against the Kukowski kid who ends up with 6 block shots. And that's just because of our bad decisions offensively.
Well, that's a tremendous performance by Natalie Kukowski of Lafayette, 17 rebounds, 17 points, 5 assists. As you said, 6 blocks. That's quite a performance.
Yeah, she's terrific. I mean, she's one of those young players that I've watched her development, and she's really a kid. When I think about her as a young freshman, she showed glimpses of brilliance. I mean, but she was up and down. She was typical as a freshman. Sophomore year, we had her number in the first 2 games. We beat them convincingly here, and then out in Easton. But they came here in the tournament and on our floor beat us. That was the first time West Point had lost to Lafayette at West Point since 1999. I mean, that's a heck of a run. And I mean, I've been here since 2006. I had never lost to Lafayette until that playoff game. So now they've won 2 in a row. And, I think, Coach Damon's done a nice job with this team. He's really brought them along. Drew Freeland is a young lady. We recruited her. She visited West Point. Nicole Johnson visited West Point. Both of those young kids are very, very, good players for them. And Freeland, between Freeland and Kukowski, I think they really, controlled the game in the second half.
And Coach, you had your team is sophomore dominated with Elisa Fallon, Sarah Bond, Kate Murray, all made points tonight. How has their play developed this year?
Well, you know what, Ken, it's been a tough year for a lot of reasons. I think I'm disappointed. Like tonight, you saw Hall and Brown, 2 of our freshmen, probably play 2 of their worst games. I mean, the 2 of them have both been Rookie of the Week twice throughout this year. We've had, I think, 6 different times we've had a Rookie of the Week, but unfortunately, the best freshman of the crew had a season-ending injury after her 8th game, Sabria Hunter. At the time she went down, she was our leading rebounder, 6'2", our best post player. So that completely changed the complexion of our team. It changed our inability. I mean, we're just not a great rebounding team, and it showed tonight. We couldn't end possessions. We gave up 14 offensive rebounds, and it's just. It's something we're not very deep. We don't go much deeper than 7, 8 on the bench.
You only played 7 players tonight.
That's normally all we do. And Skaman and Hall gets hurt. Skaman just had a horrible night. She just wasn't, to me, didn't look like she was ready to play. And as I mentioned, Hope Brown had probably one of her worst games of her freshman year.
And we watched Lisa Fallon develop last year as a freshman, taking off again this year as handling the ball, shooting. How has her game progressed this year?
Good. I mean, she's our leading scorer. She's been Player of the Week, I think, once so far in the Patriot League. She's been pretty consistent. She's had some tough nights here or there. She played great when we beat Holy Cross last week. I mean, we were picked preseason dead last in the preseason poll. I mean, and for us to knock off Holy Cross here a week ago, was, they're picked, I think, second preseason. The league's very strong at the top. I would say Lafayette's like right there, right in the middle at 5'6". But Colgate is as good as they've ever been, and Bucknell, Lehigh are all a very, very good team. So, we've got our hands full. This is a real learning season for us, and hopefully it'll pay off down the road.
Kate Murray had those key back-to-back three-point shots, got you back close in the third quarter, and also had 6 rebounds in the game. Again, another sophomore developing.
Yeah, I mean she's a tough kid. She's one of our best three-point shooters. She's struggled defensively, in terms of covering people. I thought tonight, overall, she did a solid job. She was had the task of covering Kukowski or Santarelli, and without Skaman really playing that much tonight, we really were at a disadvantage. I thought, Morgan Yancey played way too many minutes. 30 minutes is way too many for her. She shouldn't be on the floor that much. And unfortunately, down the stretch, she had a couple defensive lapses that really hurt us. Freeland was able to get free on a quick back cut for a layup that turned it into a 2-possession game there in the last minute and a half.
At West Point, we always talk about the leadership provided by the upperclassmen, and Morgan Yancey is, I guess, your sole senior on your roster and out on the court tonight. How is her leadership helped the team?
I mean, Morgan plays hard. She's a competitor. She gives you, an honest effort every night. It's just, I think, you get to a point where you look at your team and you look at the personnel. We got a lot of younger kids that, between injuries and just some of the things that have happened to us. I mean, that whole senior class was decimated with injuries between Corey Schnell, Libby Taka. It just, it sort of blew up on us. Our junior class, no one really plays. We have a walk-on and one player, and Liz Lane, who's still, struggling coming back from an ACL injury. So, I mean, it's just, this team is comprised, mostly of freshmen and sophomores, and they're getting the brunt of the minutes. And, our recruiting's gone well. We have a really strong class coming in next year. We have 6 kids coming in. We have a young lady from the prep school, and then 5 kids direct. So we're pretty excited about, that influx of talent.
And Saturday, you go down to Annapolis to play Navy. What are your thoughts about preparing for Navy this year?
Tough. I mean, they're like us. They're struggling. They have the similar type of team, really young. They've had some really rough nights. I mean, they lost to Lafayette last Saturday by 20 plus points on the road. But they're tough at home, and I don't think you just got not that. You would throw the records. I like to throw the records out, but this is one of those games. I just think it's going to come down to, who's going to show up, who's going to really, tough it out. Because the way we're playing now, it could be ugly, but I don't care. I mean, we were able to sweep them last year, and that was big for us. I mean, because they had really beat up on us in 17 and 18. After we had dominated the series, during Kelsey Monato's tenure, pretty much, and won, I think 5 consecutive star games. So, winning the star last year really, gave us, that was probably one of the big positives of last season with Maddie Hovren and Jess Lewis. But, this team just, they're learning. Every night becomes, like tonight was a tough way to learn a hard lesson.
Coach, we'll see you down in Annapolis on Saturday.
All right, Kenny. Great seeing you.
Pleasure.